So the first thing to cover is how you get combos. Let's take a look at Kunimitsu's launchers. On normal hit, she's got several. Some are pretty good, some are a little bit out there. She has a down forward 2, a pretty generic down forward 2, other than it has excellent range. This is a really good launcher. 15 frames like usual. Up forward 3, kind of a hop kick knee. Also 15 frames, pretty straightforward. But she also has up forward 3-4. You can do both hits and still get your combo, which seems kind of weird. In other situations like Julia, where she does a hop kick with a follow-up extension, if you did that follow-up to keep yourself safe, or whatever, keep you from getting punished so hard, you lose your combo. I guess that's what this is for, right? If they want to try to jab you, and then you did the second hit, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but she's always had that. Either way, up forward 3, and up forward 3 plus 4. Boom, boom. Natural launchers. She has a while standing 3, also 15 frame launcher, so pretty straightforward kit right away. She could launch you in all the basic situations you're going to encounter. Then she has several others with a little bit of flair behind them. Up back 3 plus 4 does a nice chunk of damage. That's this whole big backflip with a nice high launcher, so you can get a little bit of extra combo in there if the timing is just right. Next up we have straight up 3 plus 4. No angles, straight up 3 plus 4. Teleports and drops down with this kick. These kicks are natural launcher on hit, plus on block. So this is a really good move overall. As long as you don't get stuffed on your way into the air. I don't think you're ever invincible during this period. You can get dick jabbed out of the bottom of it. It's hard to say. But once she's up in the air, it's pretty tough to avoid. She should beat lows with this for the most part, but it's hard to say. You can get stuffed if she hasn't quite finished her animation. But otherwise, up 3 plus 4 is a really good move all around. Natural hit launcher. Up forward 4, this little spinning kick, is a launcher, but only under the situation where Kunimitsu is to the left. You can see right away how different that hit was. She kind of hits you to the side a little bit, but under a certain angle, she goes flying even further away. If you're just right and you're on your left a little bit, they land close, you can get a combo from that. So up forward 4 on normal hit can combo, but it depends on your distance and angle, and the combos they're in are difficult because of those angles and the character flipping around and stuff. But it is there. If you're, just playing the game and you're a little bit off to the side, that's a pretty quick little launcher you can go for. It's a nice move overall. It's not plus on block or anything like that, but it's just good. Beats lows, does convert to a combo. Katon stance has 3-2. This is a nice little launcher. It's super risky. It's launch punishable itself, but it goes with a mix-up game, like kind of everything else that she does. There's a low to set it up, and if you know you've got him ducking, this is a pretty big-time 25 damage launcher to go for. It just looks cool. It's one of those things that's worth doing because it's cool ninja stuff. Katon 3-2, natural hit is a launcher. From her back turn position, she only has one natural launcher, and that is forward 1 plus 2. Causes that little crumple stun. All the other stuff she can do, they're all counter hits and they're all dependent on other things. As far as a straight up launcher, back turn forward 1 plus 2 is the only one she has out of the back turn stance. And the final normal hit launcher is her crouch dash 2. Forward neutral down, down forward plus 2. Does that. Let me show you this in the move list, just to be clear of what we're talking about here. She doesn't have a Mishima type crouch dash, even though that's what this input is. It's this move right here. Forward neutral down, down forward plus 2. This is the Mishima crouch dash input, and you can do it exactly the same way, and it comes out in 14 frames when you time it exactly, just like Armor King. There's no extra properties like electrics have, but you can do this in 14 frames if you do the input quickly enough, which is a pretty powerful overall tool. Do note that the moves right underneath it, these are quarter circle moves. If you're familiar with Street Fighter or other 2D fighters at all, this is a Dragon Punch, and these 3 are fireballs. And you will oftentimes get this by accident when you're going for this, by just screwing up the input. You sometimes get quarter circle too, which is this hatchet chop, when you're going for this instead. So you gotta kind of practice. You do have to learn to distinguish the two and not get the wrong one accidentally, depending on the situation. If you had a situation where you needed this one, and you accidentally got this, that would be okay. This move is even a little bit faster, it's still fine. Nonetheless, she has a crouch dash too, despite not having a crouch dash, and it is a natural launcher. So let's take a look at all of Kuni's counter hit launchers. There's a pretty good selection here. A lot of this character is based on forcing the opponent to make bad decisions at the worst times, and counter hit launchers are a really good way to capitalize on that. The first one that's worth talking about is forward 2. This one launches them flipped up sideways in the air on counter hit, but certain combos will correct that pretty easily. Not a big deal there. This move jumps over lows and is only -10 on block, so this one is absolutely worth noting as one of her better counter hit launchers. Forward 2, really good. Forward 3+4 is another good one. This is a high homing attack. It does cause an automatic screw attack, but this is also a really good move. Between these two, when you're playing out in the mid-range and you got an opponent coming at you, both of these moves are excellent for stopping them in their tracks, landing your counter hits. So forward 3+4 and automatic screw attack is another very good one. Up forward 2 on counter hit. She jumps up in the air and hits them low. Kind of a gimmicky thing. You really need to catch an opponent napping for this to work and not get blocked, let alone counter hit. Unless they happen to just pick the worst possible thing and you get the counter hit here, it's going to be pretty tough. This one recovers crouching, so you do need to adjust the combo a little bit, but it's there. If you ever happen to land such a crazy thing, it's there, as well as Musasabi too. The only difference is this one recovers standing. This empty flip, and then the 2 button is the same thing, a counter hit launching low. This one recovers standing, so you don't need to change your combo, but again, pretty gimmicky. You're going to not find too many situations to land these, but they do exist. Forward 3+4, 2 is the shark attack. That is another good one for when you're out here in the mid-range and you want to get in and they happen to just be ready to attack and you land on them with this. Pretty cool. Because you can do this move and have time enough to see that they did something and then just press 2 when you know you've got your counter hit and get your automatic screw attack that way. That's a grip of damage. 49 already, and being able to kind of read that, throwing this move out, because this move is good enough on its own. You can go into back turned, or you can flip over them and stuff like that. You can kind of just use this to dance around a little bit at mid-range, but if you catch that counter hit, pretty easy to confirm that and get a screw attack. What else we got? Setsunagake. She has a mid and a low out of the set stance. Set 2, that's a counter hit launcher. The little cinematic results in a screw attack all on its own. Kind of tough to time until you get used to it, but it's a combo starter. And set 3 is a low counter hit launcher. Again, this one also recovers crouch, so you do kind of have to adjust combo a little bit. But think about that again from this mid-range. This command dash has a mid and a low counter hit launcher built into them. Those can both be really powerful. When you get away from an opponent, they're going to be scared to death to come at you because of your ability to just shut down their attack or come flying back at them with another counter hit ready to go. So she's really dangerous in the transition game, and these moves are why. The last major counter hit talking about is back turned down 2. Turns out this move has a very situational combo. At first, it looks like you might just get like a quick little follow-up for free, but she turns around, standing up in her normal position, and as it happens, down back 2 has just the angle to pick up. So counter hit, down back 2 is a launcher, as long as you're not too far away. But that's also true for a lot of launchers. Got to be in range. The last set worth mentioning in counter hits are the end of a string. In the main Kunimitsu guide, I talk a lot about throwing out strings and getting your opponent to challenge them at the wrong time and getting blasted like that. There's a lot to be said for just poking, and then letting it rip when you know they're going to counter poke you and get counter hit for it. So there's a series of these that also come with launchers. One of them is 2-2-2-2-2. The 5th hit is a counter hit launcher, and honestly, I don't know how you're supposed to work that into your game. I really don't. 2-2 can cancel into the Katon stance. 2-2-2 can cancel into set, but all 5 of them, all 5 in a row. You can also cancel that last one into back turned and do nothing, but if the 5th one hits as a counter hit, you get a launcher. So you're on your own to figure out how to land that one. 3-4 is another one. It's a little more practical. That 2nd hit is a counter hit, crumple stun. You're just going to be using this 3 as a homing move in neutral for the most part. And again, it's going to be kind of hard to land this one because they know the only extension you have is a high. It's different than it was in the last game. She used to have a low spin kick and a mid spin kick after this. Now it's not. Now this is always a high. There is no other option there. So I feel like they're never going to just press buttons against this. They're going to wait that extra second because they know that's a high. If you ever do that high, they're going to be ready to duck it. I don't see them pressing buttons. So I guess you could kind of use that to your advantage when you know this is going to make them duck in anticipation of a second hit that may or may not exist. You can start using that. You can start running up and poking them mid and see what happens. If they continue to duck after this, then you know you've got an opponent that's conditioned and you can continue to abuse. If they, again, start to challenge you again, that's when you know you let this thing fly, whatever it might be. That's the name of the game in general, is keeping your opponent conditioned for what you're doing so you do something else and they're not prepared. That's kind of a tough one to land, though, the second hit of 3-4. Down forward 1-3, I think is a little bit better. This move is pretty improved from the last game. This wasn't even a combo on counter hit. On counter hit, this wasn't even there in the last game. Kind of silly. But the second hit by itself is a counter hit launcher. You can do lots of cool stuff because it's a high airborne juggle. So this one is kind of practical. You're doing the dance and moving around and sidestepping, hitting them low, whatever it is, and then poke. If you got an opponent that's really aggressive, you let it rip with that hit and they're going to wish they didn't press that button there. That's a lot of things. So that's a pretty good one. The only problem with this is it's a high, again. So they kind of want to stand their ground and be ready to duck this. Well, in this game, they added a mid to check it. So that actually does kind of make this move significantly better than it was before. This becomes viable now because there's a mid to back it up and because you can actually get some damage if you get counter hits everywhere. But anyway, a couple others are automatic screw attacks while standing 2-4. That second hit by itself will cause a screw attack. The first two hits are natural, but if you get that second one alone, damn, look at that range. The second one alone, automatic screw attack. And the same is true for Katon 4-2. On counter hit, the string will connect, like so, which is not normally a combo, but the second hit alone, counter hit launcher. So that's a pretty good arsenal of moves to have. Really good overall normal hit launchers. 15 frames, standing, crouching, and all of that. Some that are plus on block, some that are evasive. And she has a 14 frame launcher if she can do it correctly. Counter hit stuff is really, really good at keeping your opponent out. And also good at getting back in. And if they happen to challenge at the wrong moment, you get a free combo out of that too. So being so dangerous on an opponent's approach and your own approach is kind of cool. It's an interesting trait to think about for this character. And then again, she has an army of things she can get when the opponent presses buttons at the wrong time. When she's zipping and dashing around and changing stances and going back turn and transitions, opponents want to try to blow that up. They want to jab you or hop kick you or whatever. All these extensions are really good at just shutting that stuff down. And a lot of these that we talked about get you launchers as well when you get them just right.